Have a good show, Pete.
This giant golf bag means the king of clubs is here. This is Peter Longo, the amazing trick shot artist who's delighted thousands of golf fans with his fabulous trick shot spectacular. The multi-talented Longo is a former PGA Tour player, a master teacher, successful author, host of his own radio and television shows, and a noted golf historian. But it's his skill with a bag of tricks that's endeared him to the golfing world. And today we join him as he puts his elaborate collection of clubs through their paces. The first thing to do is loosen the muscles, stretch, and take a practice swing. Looks like Peter's ready to burn up the course. This little number is guaranteed to put some spring into your drives. Is this a driver or a two-wood? Peter says on Sunday morning the driver looks like this to a lot of people. Don't yell 4 with this club, yell 8. You've heard of the preliminary waggle. Well, here's a real waggler. No use trying to square the face. This club goes where it wants to go. Except when the king of clubs tells it what to do. What's this? The official driver of the National Basketball Association? It's 7 feet long, and Peter uses it when he has to take a 2 club length drop away from a tree. Says it gets him back in the fairway. Well, this one must be left over from the garden club meeting. This is like hitting the ball with a piece of spaghetti. Well, let's see that one again. Peter calls this one the ultimate trick club. It's got a little bit of everything: hinge, hose, spring, pipe. I saw that last piece under my kitchen sink. Here's a good club to use when you really want to nail one. Hard grounds, no problem. Nice for tee removal, too. Looks like the caddy has his games mixed up. This isn't football. Or is it? Peter will need good footwork on this one. Shot, split the uprights. We'll take the king of clubs and 3 points. I guess this is the club to use when you want to shoot a good round. Do you need a permit before you tee off? Have trouble hitting woods? Steer one down the fairway with Peter's driving iron. Are you a golfer who bowls? Peter hits 3 strikes without knocking the pins over. And doesn't every bowler secretly wish he could do this? Peter invented this club for golfers who live in apartments. You can take a full swing at a real ball right inside your house. Done correctly, the ball glides right through the opening and falls safely to the ground. Remember, I said done correctly. This is the infamous circle of skill, a cast iron ring that tests your hand-eye coordination and your nerve. The trick here is to contact each ball and still keep the driver in one piece. Nice going, Peter. Let's see that one again. The trick shots are great. Now he's going to show us what he can do with a real golf shot. Well, anyone can have a temporary lapse. Try it again. Maybe it's in your grip. That's not what I meant. Well, that's the way the King of Clubs figures things out. You've got some great shots. Peter, you don't have any more, do you? The trick shots are in good order. It's time to attack the course. Now, that's what I call a big tee shot. Uh-oh, here's a bad lie. What club are you going to use? A driver. How are you going to get the ball up out of that long grass with a wood? That's why they call him the King of Clubs. A long putt, but that divining rod seems to know where the hole is. Golf is a different game in the hands of Peter Longo. But one thing you can count on, the King of Clubs will always make it fun. And now let's join Peter at the lesson tee for some advice that can help everyone's game.
Trick shots are a lot of fun, but golf is the most fun when you're on the course and you're playing well. It's a fantastic feeling of personal achievement. It's a feeling that no amount of money can buy. And I suppose that's why we love the game so much and try so hard to get better. Playing good golf looks a lot easier than it really is. But this collection of odds and ends proves you don't have to have a perfect swing to hit a good golf shot. Most of this stuff is pretty bizarre, but there are a few things I do that help develop some important points. So grab your clubs and your notebook. I'll show you a few trick shots that can help your game. One shot that gives most golfers fits is topping the ball. That sickening dribble along the ground. And it usually happens right after your opponent doubles the bet. Making solid contact means getting the club under the ball, and a prime factor in being able to do that is keeping your knees and upper body flexed until after impact. Straightening the body and losing knee flex are very common problems, especially among high handicappers and beginners. The result is a raised body position and a top shot, or even an air ball. A great way to develop control of the flex angles is to practice with a cut-down driver, about 36 inches long. You can make your own just by cutting the shaft of any driver and wrapping a new grip around it. Since the club is 6 to 8 inches shorter than normal, you'll have to force yourself to stay bent until after contact. By over-accentuating the flex position, you train your body to become comfortable staying over the ball, and that will improve every shot you hit, from drives to chips. I use a 24-inch driver in my show, and maintaining body flex makes it easy. So improve your body control. Practice with a 36-inch driver. And one other thing, most people think that topping the ball comes from lifting the head, and that's not true. You can keep your head down and still raise your body. As a matter of fact, if you keep your body in a good flex position, you can hit a ball without looking at it at all. When it comes to golf, there are as many different teaching ideas as there are different teachers. But there's one point that we all agree on. The single most important ingredient it takes to become a good player is hand and eye coordination. Some people are born with real good hand and eye coordination, and that's why you'll see some golfers with poor swings who can still play a respectable game. Some of my trick shots require hitting balls placed in different positions without a setup. I rely almost entirely on hand-eye coordination to feel my way through the sequence, like these high tees. The bowling pins present the added problem of stepping into each ball. And the circle of skill. That cast iron ring hurts more than my ego if I miss. So here's a fun trick shot that really helps develop hand and eye skills. It's called a rapid fire triple. First, tee up 3 balls about 4 or 5 inches apart, and then take your normal address over the very first ball. Take a regular swing, make contact with the first ball, go into your follow-through, and immediately pull the club right back into a full backswing. Then reach a little more, make contact with the second ball, go into your follow-through, immediately pull it back into a full backswing, and then reach a little more, catch the third ball, and finish the golf swing off in your regular follow-through. Don't move out of your original address position. Just reach a little more for the 2 outside balls. Keep your tempo smooth and even. The first ball is easy, but your eyesight sending messages to your hands is the only gauge you have to meet the other 2 balls on the club face. At first, you'll probably top or even miss the 2 outside balls, but that's normal. With a little practice, you'll notice that the routine is getting easier and your control is improving with all clubs. That's hand and eye coordination at work. The rapid fire triple. If you really want to get fancy, tee up 4 and do a rapid fire 4-pull, or maybe a 5-pull, or if your arms are long enough, you can do a 6-pull, or how about a 7-pull, maybe an 8. Another good shot to develop hand and eye coordination is called 2 on a wedge. Place 2 balls side by side, and then hit them both with a wedge. If you do it right, both balls will fly close together, like a normal wedge shot. Set the balls on an even line so the club face can strike both at the same time. The aiming point is the center between the balls. That's what you should be looking at. I have fun with this shot in my show, using a giant wedge. I sometimes use a driver too, but I don't recommend it for practice. It's easy to crack the head, so stay with the wedge. This shot's a little tougher than the rapid fire triple. It's easy to shank the inside ball, but there's really enough room for 2 on the face. And this shot not only improves your hand-eye skills, but through repetition, you'll develop a nice touch for sliding the club into an exact aiming point. Two on a wedge. It doubles your fun. Hitting the ball from the opposite side is a very old trick shot that can be invaluable in certain situations on the course. But I hardly ever see weekend players try it. Maybe because they don't understand it, or they're afraid of really blowing the shot. Sometimes breaking the club seems to be the only answer. But whenever your stance is blocked by a tree, fence, water hazard, or some other barrier, save a club and a penalty stroke, turn the club upside down, and advance the ball left-handed. Stay cool and follow a few simple rules. First, use a 9-iron or a wedge because they have the largest hitting surface of all your clubs. Then take a 10-finger left-handed grip, right hand on top. The key to making solid contact is keeping the body still and using mostly arms. Remember, your goal is to advance the ball, so don't try to get fancy and muscle it. Take 4 or 5 practice swings to get the feel of the left side action. It'll be awkward, but you'll get from 30 to 90 yards with a controlled swing. It's a good idea to hit a few shots left-handed in every practice session, so when the need arises, the lefty shot is ready. Sometimes I hit the ball better left-handed than I do right, which really makes me wonder about my regular game. Wouldn't it be fun to be able to intentionally hook and slice the ball whenever you want to? Sure would forgive a lot of unintentional hooks and slices. But making the ball curve right or left is not as difficult as it may seem. Actually, all that's required are 2 simple adjustments in alignment at address. First, aim your body away from the trouble. This makes sure the ball will start on line away from the hazard. Second, turn the club face so it points directly at the obstacle you want to go around. Once the alignment is set, just take your normal swing. The open or closed club face will make the ball curve. Never change your grip or swing. It's not necessary. Remember, to hook the ball, aim right of the trouble and close the club face so it points at the obstacle. Then swing normally. Just the opposite for a slice. Aim left of the trouble, open the club face until it points at the target, and again, swing normally. Opening and closing the club face is the key. The more you turn the face, the more curve to the shot. And you'll find the long irons, the 3, 4, and 5 work best because they have straighter faces than the other irons and they side spin the ball more effectively. So work on those intentional hooks and slices. You may not get the ball on the green, but you will get out of trouble and save yourself a lot of strokes and frustration. And remember, stay calm. Bend the ball around a tree, not the club. Golf is a great game, but whoever thought up putting was a sick person. On TV, this stuff looks so easy, you'd think a wooden Indian could make them. But putting has no room for error, and it's tough. Ooh, doesn't that frost your head covers? I don't do much with putting in my show. I find absolutely no humor in it whatsoever. But here's a tip that really has helped me and my students, especially on those short putts. A big key to good putting is to keep the putter moving at the hole rather than across the line. A very good method that induces the proper club head extension is to follow the ball with the putter after contact. Stroke the ball and follow it with the club. Stroke the ball and follow it with the club. This method not only keeps the blade going straight at the hole, but also makes you accelerate through impact, which is very important in every putt. It works on long putts too, but especially on the short ones. Keep the putter moving at the hole. Now that's my kind of golf hole. When you do exhibitions with these, it's only natural for people to ask you what's important when it comes to buying golf equipment. Well, the first thing is to buy your clubs from a PGA professional or a reputable dealer who can custom fit your set to suit your own personal swing. Next, buy a set that cosmetically looks good to you. Eye appeal is very important in building the confidence that every player needs to trust his clubs. Beyond that, there are 4 important points every good set has to have. They are proper loft, proper lie, the correct shaft flex, and ideal weight. Let's take a brief look at each one. Loft is the angle at which the club face is set in order to give the ball a desired trajectory. Every club in the bag has a different loft, starting with a standard 11 degrees on a driver to a whopping 60 degrees on a high loft sand iron. If you hit the ball unusually high or low, consider a loft alteration. Loft can be added or decreased easily at the factory, but even if your clubs are already made, a local repair shop can check and adjust your clubs without much trouble. And while we're on the subject of loft, a great club for men and women is a 7-wood. The 7-wood has more face angle than other fairway woods and has a shorter shaft for better control. This makes it easier to get the ball up in the air on those long wood shots. Some companies make a utility model instead of a 7-wood. These clubs are characterized by an altered sole plate of some kind, with runners and V-shapes and so on. But they all have the loft of a 7-wood and really work wonders for all golfers. Remember that a standard loft suits most golfers, but if you're not happy with the height of your shots, consider a loft alteration. Besides having the proper loft makes it easier to do this. The lie of the club is a critical part in the overall performance of your set. Lie is the angle at which the shaft protrudes from the club head. If the angle is lower than normal, the lie is said to be flat. If the shaft is above normal, that's called upright. If the lie is too flat for you, the heel will rise off the ground at address. This causes the toe to strike the ground first. That jams the face open and makes the ball veer off to the right or scuff along the grass. If the lie is too upright, then the toe will rise off the ground. The heel makes contact with the ground before anything else and shuts the face, causing the ball to pull left or again dribble along the turf. You can check the lie of your clubs yourself. Place either a wood or an iron on a tile floor or a short nap rug and take your normal stance. Have someone else slide an index card under the club. If the lie is correct, the card will meet the club about center. If the club is too upright, the card will slide all the way to the heel. It'll just barely enter under the blade if the lie is too flat. The club on the left is my 7-foot driver, which, because of its length, needs a much flatter lie than the standard club next to it. Because the lie has been properly bored, the club head rests on the ground and it's easier to control. The lie of an iron can be easily adjusted, but woods have to be bored at the factory, so pay attention when you order a new set. The lie of the club can really make a difference in the way you play, so make sure you have your club set properly and then checked regularly, even though some golfers insist that the best lie is the one on the scorecard. If you play golf at all, I don't have to tell you how important the shaft is. We've been bombarded by dozens of new high-tech innovations, wonder shafts that claim to do everything from adding distance to filleting fish. Here you see 3 of the most popular shafts on the market: steel, graphite, and titanium. Each model offers a different advantage, from reduced weight to less torque. When a golf ball is struck with force, the shaft bends at impact or kicks into the ball. This buggy whip club illustrates how the head is thrown at the ball through the contact zone. Now, what the shaft is made out of is not as important as how it kicks, so let's talk about flex. The majority of men's clubs come in 2 flexes, R, which means regular flex, and S, which indicates stiff. If you have the ability to drive a ball over 250 yards, then a stiff shaft is better suited to your game. If you generate less speed than that and most golfers do, then the R shaft will supply the proper balance between flexibility and kicking action for maximum power and accuracy. 98% of all women golfers are suited to the L shaft, a special design that's standard in ladies' clubs. The L shaft reacts faster to less clubhead speed and a shorter swing radius. Now here's two examples of why you don't want to buy shafts that are too stiff or too soft. This rubber hose is so flexible, it actually resists clubhead speed. And this 2x4 is so stiff, it doesn't offer any head kick at all. The truth is, most players will do just fine with the flexes I've already mentioned. But here's where a PGA professional or custom club fitter can really help your choice. And you won't end up with clubs like these. There are two measurements that determine the weight of a golf club: swing weight, which is the weight in the club head, and static weight, which is what the club actually weighs overall in ounces. Placing the club on a specially designed scale, the swing weight is determined with the head hanging over the end bar. The static weight can be measured on the same scale simply by turning the club around. Of the two weight measurements, static weight is more important. You still have to swing the entire club no matter how the weight is distributed. Remember, the biggest factor in gaining distance is club head speed, and you need light weight for that. I'm a big proponent of using lightweight equipment. The biggest problem I encounter when making trick clubs is too much weight. Usually, if a club is light enough overall, it'll produce a quality golf shot. Now, this club is the heaviest one I own, and it's a bear. Only Mr. Universe can hit this club for any real distance, so I limit its use to short par threes, water holes of course. But you won't have to deal with such things. Just keep the overall weight of your set relatively light, and you'll hit a lot more shots right down the pipe. One area I haven't touched on yet are the grooves on the face and just how important they really are. A number of touring pros have been pretty outspoken about square versus V-line grooves, so let's take a look at the situation from another angle. The United States Golf Association has declared the conventional V-shape and the hollowed-out square groove to both be perfectly legal and very similar in performance. It's true, ancient club makers constantly experimented with club face lines in an effort to get more spin on the ball. But at the same time, other club builders produced irons without any grooves at all. When I developed ET a few years ago, I found I could control the flight of a golf ball with a smooth surface. ET's nose is the hitting surface. No scoring lines, yet I haven't had any control problems. I have other trick clubs, woods and irons, also without grooves. I don't have any problems with those either. But more importantly, in playing with amateur golfers and with my students, I've come to the same conclusion as the USGA. Square grooves don't make a big enough difference to worry about. So if you find a set of clubs you like, V or square grooves, you'll find about the same result with each. Go home, ET. Golf certainly has become the centerpiece of creative ingenuity. In the past 30 years, we've had enough new innovations to confuse a mathematics expert. But choosing the right specifications is just a matter of properly evaluating your own style and conferring with a PGA professional or custom club fitter. I could do 3 hours on the differences between wood, steel, graphite, ceramic, and all the other striking compounds, as well as the pros and cons about weighting, balancing, and all the rest. The points I've covered are the main ingredients that make any golf club work for the individual golfer. So remember, pay attention to loft, lie, shaft, and weight. Believe it or not, all 4 of those properties are built into this club, custom fitted to suit my swing. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? There are many different ways to improve, and the best formula is to take lessons from a qualified PGA professional and then practice and play as much as you can. And one other thing, no matter who you are, in every round you're going to hit some good shots, and you're going to hit some bad ones. So take it in stride and don't get mad. Remember, golf is a game. It's a great game. So when you're on the course, have some fun. That's what I do. I'll look for you at the first tee.
Other books and videotapes by Peter Longo include Challenge Golf, the world's first instruction tape for physically handicapped golfers. For more information, contact Forefront Enterprises.